Hello, magical human, and welcome back to Madison Mindset, the podcast. Yes, it's been changed back. The name's been changed back, everybody. Don't worry about me. I'm Sagittarius. That's what I do. I just kind of float around and just get ideas and go crazy. Never mind. I missed the old name. Going back to what I had planned when I was 23 years old. Full circle moment. Life's one big spiral, right? So I apologize for the lighting in this video. It's getting kind of dark, but I'm not the type of person who's going to go and get like a ring light or anything like that. I don't want to do that. So we're just going to work with the daylight we have left. And if you're watching the video, you can watch the sunset on my face. That's basically what it's going to be. Now, in this episode, just grabbing my notes for this episode, we're going to be talking about what yoga is and what yoga is not. So we're going to make it really clear, because in this world, there are a lot of opinions, there's a lot of noise, especially on social media, and it can be very hard to know whether you're looking at what is actually yoga or some salesy version of yoga, whatever. We want to find yoga at its core, yoga at its essence, because ultimately that is the yoga that has survived all of these thousands of years. You know, the yoga that is marketed to us is not going to be around in 100, 200 years' time. It's just not. It's a phase, like a trend, but yoga itself is not a trend. So we're not even going to talk about it. So before we jump in, I want to give you a gift. Now, here's what I've been up to. As most of you know, I closed my yoga studio. It was crazy. I still go back home and teach fortnightly. So I'm going home this weekend, but I closed it. So I've had a lot of free time on my hands. So what I've been doing is creating an online yoga studio. There are already people in there. We're already enjoying classes in there, getting to know the space, but it's officially being launched over the next month. And to celebrate the launch of this online studio, because I've been wanting to do this for years and many of you have messaged me. I've got messages from people. Do you offer online classes? No, I'm so sorry, I don't. Now is your opportunity to be able to jump into these online classes and actually practice with me at home anytime that you want, because that's the trouble with a lot of yoga classes. It's got to fit your schedule. This way, I fit your schedule. So it all works beautifully. So I want to offer you a gift as a listener of the podcast. So if you have found me, you've been listening to me, I'm going to offer you a discount on your subscription. For as long as you are subscribed, you will get a cheaper rate. Okay, it's only $33 a month, AUD, keeping in mind, Australian dollar. So do your conversions as you need to. For you, it's going to be $25 per month, as long as you are subscribed. Okay, so as long as you stay subscribed, it's going to be $25 a month, as long as your subscription is active. If you would like to activate that, you can go below, click on the link and use the code, all caps, Madison Mindset Podcast 26. I will put that code below as well, so you can just copy it. Madison Mindset Podcast 26. You will get your discount and you can have cheaper access to the studio. I've tried to make this online studio as accessible as possible, so it's not an expensive place, and that's because yoga is designed to be free. It is for everybody. It's not mine to keep, so I'm never going to charge crazy prices for your access to yoga. But that being said, I am charging for my time and my effort and my teaching, and of course the holding of the website, which costs more money than I would have thought. Who would have thought websites were so expensive? It's fine. We're fine. We're leaving that alone. So go and check that out. You can only claim this discount until July 12th. So you've got a little over a month to get in there and claim that subscription for yourself. All yours. If you've got a friend or a family member who wants to jump into, feel free to give them the code. Go for it. Absolutely fine. Gift it to anyone you love. Absolutely cool. So you can jump on and practice yoga with me. I am always grounded as deeply as I can in tradition, and I'm always learning, always growing, and always evolving. So I'm very honest as a teacher, and I'm not here to show off or to make yoga look like something it's not. I want you to have the clearest view of yoga as you can, because yoga changed my life and it's changed so many people's lives, and I get to be a teacher of yoga, which is great. But I just want you to get access to yoga. Okay, so jump in there, and my email and everything is always there. So if you need to reach out, if you have any questions or you have any concerns, you can always come and let me know. So let's get into the episode for today. I've got 5 different points to make here. I've got something that yoga is not, and I've got something that yoga is in response to that. Okay, so the first one, yoga is not an aesthetic. Yoga is an internal practice. If you go on Instagram or Google for that matter, and you type up yoga, you know, even as an aesthetic, it's like a whole thing. And it's usually a beautiful woman in beachfront views with perfect outfit and perfect body and crazy contortionist type poses. And it makes it very out of reach. It makes it really annoying. And in the beginning of my yoga journey, I got really frustrated because where I was practicing was not as pretty as some of these places that people would go. And even if I did manage to get to the beach to practice yoga, and I was like, yes, this is it, this is my yoga practice, there was too much sand. There was not enough sand. It wasn't flat enough. There was, water coming up and washing over the mat, and my wrists and shoulders getting sore because the mat's falling into the sand. All these complications. It doesn't feel as beautiful as it looks online. And it was a real bummer for me. It's not, it was a real, like, it was a letdown, and it actually made me not want to practice. So that was how I was like in the beginning. So I can only imagine that other people are like that as well. If you think you're going to walk into a yoga class and be met with, a face full of perfect bodies and wheel poses and headstands, why would you go? I wouldn't go. It's too intimidating. It's too much. But if we understand that that's not what yoga is, that's the salesy yoga. That's the showy off yoga. It's not yoga. Yoga is an internal practice. There's a reason we can't put photos of what yoga truly is online, because what it truly is cannot be photographed. It cannot be photographed. We can't take a photo of the transformations in people's minds. We can read about it, we can hear about it for sure, we can feel it for ourselves, but we can't get a photo of it. We can't get a video of it. And it's actually really hard to explain the changes in the mind, because a lot of it is just stuff we don't understand. It's unconscious. It's something else. So what are we left with? Photos of asana, photos of postures and meditation seats. So I want you to understand that what you see, any picture of yoga, any video of yoga, that's not yoga itself. That's a part of yoga, but yoga has never been for aesthetic reasons, for beauty, for physical, we want perfect, beautiful, flexible bodies. That's not the point of yoga. And if you think that's what yoga is, you're actually missing out a lot. And it's not your fault. If that's what you think yoga is, fair enough. That's how you see it advertised, right? Of course. But that's not what it is. It's an internal practice, and it's a life changer. And as soon as I got it out of my head that I needed to be on the beach with a perfect mat and a perfect body and actually practice yoga in its traditional form with good teachers that care about the tradition and the philosophy, that's when I started to see real change. So let's all get that out of our heads right now. Number 2, yoga is not for a specific person. Yoga is for everyone. Again, with these pictures online, you see it online and you think that yoga is for flexible people. Yoga is for dancers. Yoga is for gymnasts. Yoga is physically hard. It's not for anyone who's a little bit older. It's not for, even kids. You don't see a lot of kids' pictures. There's heaps of things, yoga's not for people who have an injury, right? We get this idea that yoga is quite difficult. So all of these people who, and perhaps it might be you might have an injury or whatever it is, you might think that, oh, I can't do yoga. Yes, you can. Yes, you can do yoga 100%. The word yoga means union or to yoke, to bring together. And yoga is for all. So the minute you feel like you can't participate in a class or in whatever it is, then it may not be yoga, because you are always invited. I've always taught mixed level classes. While I may have had beginner, intermediate, and if you go on my website, you'll see there's beginner classes, there's harder classes, and I do give you a warning, because of course there are easier postures and harder postures, absolutely. But you know what? Even the hardest of postures has a step 1, has an option that everybody could do. Everyone has a version of every single pose. So it's important that we understand that the yoga postures are made to fit you, not the other way around. If you try and squeeze yourself into yoga postures, that's where you get injured, right? That's where you end up with an injury because you're trying to force, a circle into a square or a square into a triangle, and it just doesn't work. You end up causing more harm than doing any good. Whereas if you just understand that yoga is for all, yoga is made for you, let the yoga fit you, not the other way around, then we're going, right? And the reason you might feel like it has to look a certain way, again, probably the advertising you've seen for yoga. Number 3, yoga is not something to physically achieve. It is an inner journey. It's actually more mental achievement we're looking for. While it may be very impressive to be able to do a headstand, ultimately, the goal of yoga is not to do a headstand. The goal of yoga is to bring stillness to the mind, to still the fluctuations of the mind. So that's what we're working on. That's the goal we're trying to achieve. And I can tell you what, that's much cooler than being able to do headstand. Very few people in this world can keep their mind still. It is a skill that no one is fostering, right? When we actually use the practices of yoga to help you keep a still and steady and calm mind, game changer. Absolute game changer. You know what can't survive when the mind is still? Fear, stress, anxiety, guilt, regret, all of these things we'd rather not feel, all these things that hold you back, that pull you down, that drain you. It can't survive. When the mind is still, there is presence. And where there is presence, there is life. And there is the things right in front of you that you don't want to miss out on in your, in the head full of anxiety or worry. You don't want to miss out on the things that are right in front of you. Yoga gives you time, it gives you life. And that's why you may have heard that teaching, yoga doesn't take time, it gives time. I don't know where that comes from. I'll try and find it and quote it below. I don't know. But it gives you time because now you're present for your kids, for your family, for yourself, for your body, whatever it is. You can actually experience your life now instead of running around in the craziness that so many of us do. Number 4, yoga is not a class, a retreat, or a once a week thing. It is a daily practice. While we may have yoga classes, big advocate for yoga classes, I teach yoga classes. While we may have retreats, again, big advocate, love yoga retreats, I host yoga retreats. While people do come to yoga once a week, and I certainly do in certain studios where I live, that's not exactly yoga. At a retreat, you get a beautiful experience of what it's like to live yoga. When there's no TVs around, you get fed beautiful, healthy, nutritious, nourishing meals, right? You do beautiful yoga, you do philosophy, you might do some workshops, you go to bed at a good time, you rise at a good time. You literally get to be in the pool of living the yoga lifestyle. It gives you a little taster. It gives you an idea, a reminder of how it feels. But ultimately, you got to take that and implement it into your life. Same with yoga classes. Yoga classes are designed to give you the opportunity to be taught by a teacher. You might learn some new postures. You might get some support for your body, some support in your meditation. It certainly helps to have people around you. We're all here doing our yoga together. Let's sit and be still. Much more motivating than at home. But ultimately, we need to learn how to integrate yoga. What you do most wins. If you're practicing mental stillness once a week or even once a day, and then the rest of the time, you're just eating like garbage, just lost in scrolling and a pit of anxiety, what do you think you're going to get better at? Okay, most yoga classes last 60 minutes, 90 minutes. What's your screen time? Way longer than 90 minutes for most of us. So we need to understand that yoga is a daily practice to be integrated into our life. And the classes and retreats that you do are designed to help you with that process. And finally, number 5, yoga is not a trend. Yoga is an ancient practice of the mind. The fact that yoga is a trendy thing really annoys me because yoga was never trendy. Back in the day, you hear so many stories about, in India where yoga originated, people doing yoga practices and the kids kind of being like, oh, this is so lame, parents are doing yoga, they're doing it in their pajamas or whatever. It wasn't a cool thing. It was just a way of life, a lifestyle, right? It was a normal thing. And now yoga has become something that people can make money from. And it's become an aesthetic, it's become trendy. And because of that, there's a lot of misinformation about yoga. And the thing with trends, what's a trend? A trend is something that becomes popular for a period of time and then dies. There are many examples. You can think of different trends, clothing trends, fitness trends that have come, been super popular, and then they've died. Sometimes they revive and sometimes they go away again. It depends. It depends. The thing is, with trends, there's no real care for what that thing is. There's no genuine liking of what it is, what the focus is, what the trend is. There's no real care about where it's come from, what it's for, who created it, why do we do it. There's no real care. We're doing it because other people are doing it. We're doing it because we think it's cool, because we think we're on trend, because we want to look a certain way. Doing that with yoga feels like a crime because yoga is over 5,000 years old and it is a lifestyle practice. It's even part of culture. And people are spreading misinformation and using yoga for personal gain. And that's not what yoga is about. And while I'm not from the place where yoga created, I honor it deeply and I can't wait to visit one day because I think it is the biggest blessing, one of the biggest blessings that humans have ever created. I really do think that yoga is a system that we are so lucky to have had the opportunity to learn. And the fact that it's over 5,000 years old, how many teachers had to pass it on in order for it to get to our ears today? It's a gift. In fact, the word yoga isn't an English word. People think it's an English word. It's not. It's Sanskrit. So yoga is not a trend. Do not let it be something in your life that comes and goes, like flares or perms. Do not let it be something that comes because everyone else is doing it and goes because, no one else is doing it. That's an indication that you don't understand yoga. Yoga is for everybody. Not all types of yoga, not all poses are for everybody, but the practice of yoga itself, if you have a mind, which you probably do if you're listening to this, yoga is for you. I met a beautiful yoga teacher on a walk this morning, such an aligned experience. And she said to me, I've never met her before. We literally just went on this walk. And she said, we're just looking around at the nature, and she said to me, nature and yoga go so beautifully together. And I just said to her, that's because nature is doing yoga. Nature is yoga. Nature has nailed the goal of yoga. Still, peaceful, content. It's nailed it. So that's why when you're in nature, you have that, it gives your mind a little, how nice is it just to be? Yoga is for the human mind and we need it. So those are my 5 topics of yoga is and yoga is not. I hope that clears things up for you. If you're curious, jump over to my online studio where you're guaranteed to get yoga that is from the source as best I can. And I'm always here. You can also integrate it into your life because you don't have to go anywhere or do anything. Bring yourself as you are. Mat, no mat, doesn't matter. If you would like to go a bit deeper into yoga, I currently have 3 spaces available for one-on-one work with me. What this looks like is you and me, you and I, meeting up twice a week via Zoom or in person if you're around, but for most of us, it'll be via Zoom. One of those meetups, we're going to be doing a yoga class, a yoga practice tailored to you. The second meetup that we're going to do is to look at the lifestyle of yoga, the philosophy and things you can do to help integrate yoga into your life. So we're not just taking the asana and the postures and running with it. We're actually going to look at the whole system. I'm going to give you texts to read if you choose to read them. Otherwise, we're going to meet up, do classes together. You will get free access to the online studio if you join this. There are only 3 spots available because I only have space for meetups 6 times a week. So that's 3 people from anywhere in the world. I don't know who you are yet, but I'm so excited to meet you and to spend time teaching you yoga, teaching you something that has not only changed my life, but has also transformed the lives of so many I've worked with and so many people beyond who I've worked with, the people who have really touched yoga, the people who have really allowed yoga into their life in the most purest form possible. The changes can be extraordinary. So if you've tried a lot of things, you've tried a lot of anti-anxiety stuff, you've tried coaching, you've tried all this stuff, and it's just not happening for you, why not look at the oldest system we have in place for the mind? Why is it still around? If it was a terrible system that didn't work, would have died a long time ago. It's still here. And it works. If you're curious, go to the link below. There's a form there on my website that you can fill out with your details. I've got a few questions I want to ask you. Fill out the form and send it to me. If it feels aligned, I'll reach out to you. Again, I only have space for 3. So I'll be looking at the forms in order of date. So whoever's first is going to get in first. This is an opportunity for you to dive into the depths of yoga. In these 2 months, we will change your life. Go below, look at the form, fill the form out. There's no harm in filling out a form. Go and fill the form out. Let's see what comes of it. Thank you for being here with me, Magical Human. I appreciate you so much. Feel free to send this episode to someone you love, someone who loves yoga, someone who maybe would like to try yoga, but they're a bit nervous. Send it to them. Send me a message, share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Madison_mindset. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here. It's officially too dark to have this video on, so we're going to end it here. Thank you. Sending love. Enjoy your day.